Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine. This is Mr. Royce of Royce Media coming at you guys with another video. And I have to tell you, I'm feeling better today. A couple of nights ago, I slept wrong on my neck and woke up uh, with I don't know if I slept wrong or it's just I got some inflammation on a nerve in my neck, but you know, man, I woke up, could hardly turn my head, and so I was dealing with that. I'm feeling better today. I could do that. Couldn't really do that without discomfort for the last couple of days. So I'm better today. It's getting there. I probably need to go get myself a deep tissue massage to work out any additional tension in that area. So I might have to do that. No, I don't be going trying to get happy endings. you know, I know some of you perverts be like, he going to get the happy ending. No, no, I don't do that, man. I'm not trying to wind up on somebody's police blog or nothing. You know, go in and get my neck massage and then get on out of there. Got my Joe. I'm ready to go. Ready to talk about this Maxine Claudine gay. Why did I call her Maxine? Somebody named Maxine must be talking about me in the cloud somewhere. You know, I actually have an aunt named Maxine. You know, so yeah, man. But yeah, I had to talk about this Claudine Gay situation for one last time because um I noticed in some social media comments that I made, um it has occurred to me that uh two things are happening. Number one, uh this has been obviously been turned into a conservative versus liberal uh, conflict, a bit of a battle between the two. And and of course, most uh, Black Americans are liberal, which really this is a uh, right versus left conflict. Uh, you know, but that's number one. And number two, there is a misunderstanding of the lesson of power versus empowered. That's power versus empower. This the comments, and this is primarily Black people. This lets me know they don't understand the difference between power and empower. They don't understand how clout works, especially uh, in situations where uh, in situations that are political. They don't understand this, and uh, this is why you see some of the misgivings and misunderstandings um, on how it works and how it should be used and what is expected. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit because I think there needs to be an education. I think someone such as Dr. Claude Anderson, I think he did a great job in explaining how it works, but um, He put it in a book. I know what they say about books. Y'all know what they say about books and you know who's. You want to hide it from them, put it in a book. And then, you know, he he has said the same thing in videos. The problem is that apparently uh, they a lot of people don't like being educated. A lot of people don't take uh, how-to lessons uh, to heart, especially when it comes to things like using money as power. It seems like the people that the message is aimed at, they would rather use money uh, to buy trinkets, baubles, and clothes to show um, to gain and display importance, rather than using that money to create businesses or create networks and different things to you know buy the real services needed, like buying your politicians, um, and enforcing whatever agenda it is that they have. And I know that this is a misunderstanding because a lot of these same people don't understand the power of uh, fraternities, sororities, joining clubs, networking. They'll network for the plug, but they won't network to get people jobs. They'll network uh, to get a deal on a party DJ, but they won't network to make sure their uh, their kids coming up in school have a path into you know great areas of employment, um, and different things like that. They want mentorship, but they want mentorship from athletes. They don't want their kids to be mentored in areas such as business and finance and trades and different things like that. They want their kids mentored to be entertainers, be it in the sports area or in Hollywood, or singing or something like that. And this is sad because everybody kid ain't going to the NFL or the NBA or the MLB or none of that. You know, the majority of people are not going to those places. Where the majority of people are going is everyday industries, and uh, you know, um, that's where they need the mentorship. That's where they need the connections, the networks, and stuff. And you know, because these people don't understand how this works, they miss opportunities. Okay, so yeah, yeah, so yeah, we're gonna talk about it today. We are going to talk about it today, and we're gonna talk about that misunderstanding. Okay, this situation with Claudine Gay, this whole situation, and I've mentioned this before. This is a clout war. This is a clout war. This is a what we are learning in this whole situation is how power works, um, and how power is different than being empowered. See, Claudine Gay was empowered. She did not have power. She was empowered. She was given the ability. Um, she was of money. She was given the access to a career path, and different things. Uh, she was subjected to clout from others that made a way for her to become the president of Howard, of Harvard. Why did I say Howard? I'll get to that. I know why I said Howard, and I'll get to that. Uh, but you know, the ones who had the power are the donors to Harvard. Are these people that are pumping millions of dollars a year into this Ivy League institution and other Ivy League institutions. They have power. Their say so is what allowed Claudine Gay to become the president of Harvard. It's certainly not her academic accolades, which we found out subsequently that she cheated her way through school. And make no mistake, from the videos I'm going to show you guys, it was known before all of this that she cheated her way through school. But it was also the power of her clout that had that pushed into way buried into the background. So when she was going through her interviews to become the president, this stuff didn't come up. That's how power works. That's how clout from power works. As I explained to you guys before I retired, um, we had some clout heavy. We had a whole basically a whole regime of management at my former employer. They all had to quietly quit the job because they lost the power of their clout, because the clout lost his power because he got indicted by the feds. And who this was Mike Madigan. Mike Madigan was a state rep. His daughter was an attorney general, uh, Lisa Madigan. And, you know, he had a lot of sway because he had power, you know. Um, he didn't have more power than the federal government, but he had a lot of power, and there were a lot of people that were connected to him, my former employer, that they had power through him, and they used that power to push their agenda. The thing is when Mike Madigan went down, they all went down too, and a whole lot of stuff got revealed, and you know, people had to leave before it got really bad. you know, that's what it is, man. So you had that situation, and but um, while they were there, a lot of stuff got hidden. So um, this is the same situation with Claudine Gay. They found over 40 examples of plagiarism committed by Claudine Gay um, during her pursuit of her degree, which ended in a PhD. I've s- I've had a chance to look at some of the examples, and yeah, she copied lines 90, I would say 95% the same information. She may add a quote here, you know. she change one little change one word, um yeah, it was pretty obvious. It was pretty obvious. And you notice she hasn't refuted or denied any accusation of plagiarism. Let's take a look at these videos, man, because you know, a lot of tap dancing and making uh has been um has been committed by especially the pro blacks, especially the pro blacks. Yeah, she's being attacked with stuff that she actually did by people she was empowered by. She didn't toe the line. Salute to the people, to the small hats for exercising power. This is an example. This is what it looks like to exercise, to have power, to exercise it, and to utilize the tools at your disposal in order to get your agenda done and to have the ability to control others. If you cannot elect them, then you buy them. This is what Claude Anderson talked about. This is the lesson. This is the lesson that Claude Anderson has been talking about for years. Salute to the Dr. Claude Anderson. He has been talking about buying power. If you can't buy the politicians, then rent them. If you can't buy who you want, then rent them. They all have a price. They all have a price. Not only that, it's also another lesson in all of this is that when you accept monies from others, when you accept opportunities opened by others, it is do not be surprised if they want something back. Do not be surprised if they want you to carry out a particular agenda, whatever that is. And don't be surprised that if you do not, there's going to be a price to pay. You're going to have to pay it back one way or another. If you don't get it yourself, if you are taking handouts, you're going to have to pay something back. You're going to have to do something. Nothing is for free. Nothing. And simply your presence is not enough. They're going to want something else. That's just the nature of what it is. You either do it that way or you do it your own way. Personally, I would rather be the one calling the shots. I want to be the one calling the shots. So I would rather not take the handouts uh, if I can. If you borrow money, you have to pay it back. It is what it is. Uh, I don't think the pro blickies understand this. I really don't. I don't think Black Americans in general understand this, especially in this day and age. They don't seem to understand how the game works, which is why they're losing in the game. You want to know why there was a Stop Asian Hate bill immediately because money was put to get that legislation passed. Money was put up to get that legislation passed. When you see something pop up out of the blue or gets implemented with speed, you better follow the money. Better follow the money, and you better look at the network. You better look at the network, and you better look at the network's net worth. You got Taraji P. Henson crying about not being paid for um not being paid for her acting, not being paid enough for her acting jobs because she is empowered. She doesn't have power. She's not seeking power. She's seeking a she's looking for a job instead of creating her own opportunities. She's not doing like Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes, one of my favorite people as far as her business acumen in Hollywood, because she is a creator. She has now she's used her talents to move herself into a position where she calls the shots. She's not beholden to someone else as much as a Taraji P. Henson. She's a shot caller. Taraji hasn't done anything to be a shot caller. Claudine Gay was not a shot caller. She was a beneficiary. She wasn't a benefactor. In that situation that happened, she was not a beneficiary. She was a benefactor. She was empowered. She didn't have real power. The only people she had power over was the people under her. Now she's got to. Now she had to deal with the power above her, and she didn't do what they said, and they found a way to get rid of her. This happens all the time. This is a play, and I'm not saying she was wrong in her stance about free speech. I've said before, I agree with what she said about free speech on the campus, even though I know it was a lie because I've seen examples of how she did the opposite. But the idea of free speech should be protected and encouraged on college campuses, I agree with. That being said, had you had some neo Nazis or some alt rights on campus having a protest about something, she'd have made sure she found a way to get them off campus. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt because of who she is. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's not a hard one to figure out at all. But what she said about free speech, I agree with. Uh, I do. I do. You know, let's take a look at this video. I think it's a very good video. Hold on. You all got to be able to see this. Fair use, fair use. Let's go.
Day on the president of Harvard University to step down amid accusations of plagiarism. 54-year-old Dr. Claudine Gay is on the naughty list, according to the New York Post. She has been accused of copying passages from the work of several other academics for her doctoral dissertation and 3 scholarly articles.
I say shame on you. Shame on you.
Former Vanderbilt University professor Dr. Carol M. Swain is
Hey, let's stop it for a minute. Hey, Dr. Swain was hot. I seen a few interviews with Dr. Swain about the situation, and she was certainly not happy at all. She is by no means the only one, but this woman, this doctor, had a lot to say. And this was another Black American woman. Even though, I know some of you pro Black Pan Africans would be like, oh well, it's not even them. Uh, my fault. It's the FBA ADOS gang. She not FBA. She not FBA. Guess what? You don't call the shots in politics and demographics. So they're going to consider, if they consider Claudine Gay a Black American or an African American, it is what it is. Another example, power. You don't have the power to change that, so it is what it is. And the people that make the rules are going to say she's a Black American. Anyway, I digress. You have one Black American uh, scholar who was pretty much victimized by another Black American scholar, in that her intellectual, um, her intellectual materials, her intellectual property was stolen. Basically, let's continue.
One of the academics who says her groundbreaking work was plagiarized.
Claudine Gay has had a pattern of plagiarizing other people's work. She has presented herself as coming up with ideas that really came from my work. I'm not going to call her Dr. Gay, because to be a doctor, you have to successfully defend a dissertation that contains your original.
Hey, Dr. Swain chose violence. Woo! She chose violence on this one. I understand. I understand. She's upset, and rightfully so. I mean, her work was stolen. Someone built an an academic resume based off of her work. I get it. I understand.
Work. And so is she really a doctor?
A Harvard University investigation found there were inadequate citations in Gay's work, but no evidence of intentional deception or research misconduct.
It's remarkable that Claudine Gay, who was elected
That was the attempt of her Clout to kind of poo away the fact that she stole the work of others. Inadequate quotations. It's not a big deal. Bull, but yeah, okay, bull crocker. All right, let's continue.
to lead Harvard just over a year ago is now under such intense pressure one semester into the job.
Dr. Gay scored a big fat F for her testimony before Congress earlier this month about anti-Semitism on Ivy League campuses.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment, yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
Some deep-pocket donors shot their checkbooks just today.
Let's go back over what he just said. Fair use, fair use. Listen to what the reporter said.
Deep-pocket donors shot their checkbooks just today. A billionaire who has gifted Harvard $270 million suspended further donations, despite
$270 million from one donor. You think a donor like that wouldn't have say so? That if they want something done, if they want an agenda pushed at Harvard, you don't think that that person wouldn't have say so regarding that? Claudine Gay don't have $270 million. Let's continue.
a crescendo of calls calling for her to resign or be fired. Dr. Gay says, I stand by the integrity of my scholarship. What do you think should be done?
Harvard University needs to stand up and do the right thing. And the right thing is to either fire Claudine Gay, put her on administrative leave, but they need to take some ownership.
Man. Woo. Hey, Dr.
Epidemic
Swain,
science.
Dr. Swain was not happy with Claudine Gay at all. She's not. And she is one of quite a few victims. Now, for those of you all who say you know who are towing the line of the clout of Claudine Gay. Oh, there ain't that many. It was 40 different instances. It's more than one victim. When Bill Cosby got accused of the crimes that he got accused of, you all kept saying, oh, "Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's smoke, there's fire." You all said that. So guess what? That's what you got here, right? That's what you have right here. What up, Deacon Dave? What up, Deacon Dave? Good morning, American Negro. Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Glad that you all could join. Glad that you all have hit the like buttons. Anybody else coming in, like and subscribe. And if you feel it in your heart, drop something in the Cash App. I would greatly appreciate it. Plagiarism. Deacon Dave says plagiarism is plagiarism, and it is illegal or violation. Deacon Dave also says the Negro sensitivity meter was moved by Claudine Gay. Church, man. So yeah, yeah. Claudine Gay uh over 40 instances of alleged plagiarism. And like I said, I've seen a few, and it looked like plagiarism to me, you know. And I mean, I mean, it's obvious plagiarism. Sometimes you could have unintentional plagiarism, um, which you know you can see that it's unintentional, where the student hasn't done enough to give credit, or the person being accused hasn't they haven't given enough credit to where their ideas may have come from, and where you can look and tell that it's accidental. But when your stuff is almost a carbon copy, and all you did was change, put a quotation mark, or change a uh, the word percent into a percent sign, that's obvious plagiarism. It's obvious. That's a violation in academia, like Deacon Dave said. It is what it is. And they've had software for years, like Grammarly. They've had this for years that would go through you know, your essays, your papers and stuff, that would search for instances of plagiarism. And I mean it's not the only way, but works that are published in particular, Grammarly will scan your work to make sure you haven't plagiarized the work of others. So, yeah, the examples I saw, it was they were obvious instances of plagiarism. Like, there was no discrepancy. She did what they said she did. Truism, the Storm Crow returns. What up, bro? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Let's continue. Let's look at another article. Let's look at another video that about this Claudine Gay situation. That last video, I want to say that was from CBS. So shout out to CBS for that video. Um, Let me pull up this next video so we could get it cracking. Okay, I believe this one is from News Nation. News Nation. Let's look at this video by News Nation. Of course, this is gonna be a fair use of this video. Let's go.
In a 6-year high, 27 undergraduates were forced to withdraw from Harvard in 2021 due to honor code violations. That's six people.
Let's stop right out the gate. Let's go back and let's listen to what this reporter just said. Tune in and listen.
Graduates were forced to withdraw from Harvard in 2021 due to honor code violations.
Hold on, one more time.
And Harvard takes plagiarism seriously. From the Harvard Crimson, in a 6-year high, 27 undergraduates were forced to withdraw from Harvard in 2021 due to honor code violations. That's 6 people in a year. Since Gay's testimony, a number of journalists started looking into Gay's past, including her dissertation. The Washington Free Beacon and independent journalist Christopher Rufo called attention to a few passages. There are many. But consider these similarities with the work of world-renowned professor of law and political science, Carol.
Here we go. Here's another one. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, this is the one I was talking about. This is one examples that I saw. Pay close attention. This is one of several examples. This is one of 40. Let's listen.
Carol Miller Swain. Here's just one example you can see highlighted. On the right, in blue, Carol Swain says, since the 1950s, the re-election rate for the House members.
Hey, Carol Swain was that doctor from the last video. That one that was very upset with this Claudine Gay. So this is one of the examples from her work.
Has rarely dipped below 90%. Gay on the left in red without quotes, the same thing, just adding a comma in the word incumbent, saying since the 1950s, the re-election rate for incumbent House members has rarely dipped below 90%. Again, from the Harvard Crimson, Harvard's own newspaper, the Crimson, quote, independently reviewed the published allegations. Quote, some appear to violate Harvard's current policies around plagiarism and academic integrity. With us now, author of The Adversity of Diversity, political scientist and legal scholar, Dr. Carol Swain. It's nice to see you, ma'am. Thank you. To be fair.
Hey, she's working the circuits on here, boy. She is working the circuits. She is not playing. She wants her pound of flesh. Shout out to Dr. Swain for getting her pound of flesh.
Harvard has cleared Miss Gay, Dr. Gay, of plagiarism. I'm just interested as an academic. Do you think she committed plagiarism?
I mean, there's no question that she committed plagiarism. There are some Harvard faculty members who are trying to redefine what is plagiarism. We all know what it is. And so she did violate that. And it was not just in her dissertation, it was also in some of her publications. And my beef with her is not.
Okay. It's another one. It's another one. Hey, Dr. Swain is on the warpath to expose it. She is not playing. Let's continue.
Not really about, I mean, so there were 2 passages from my award-winning book, Black Faces, Black Interests, the Representation of African Americans in Congress, that she quoted without citations. When I examined her work on Monday, her publications, the one that led her to get tenure, what I noticed was not passages of my work, but her whole research agenda was building on the ideas from my award-winning book, because it was the seminal book at that time on representation, minority representation. It would have been expected normally that she would have acknowledged in, a paragraph, or she would have either
put you in the credits or something, yeah.
Hey, fair use. Hey, this closed caption is horrible. This closed caption is horrible in this video, man. It's, hey, whoever did this needs to be fired. Oh my God. Either that or they need a software update. I'm pretty sure it is there's a software that does the closed caption, and the software needs to be updated because some of the stuff that the closed caption is saying doesn't does not make sense. Let's continue.
In the
She would
forward?
she would have it in the book cited in the bibliography, but the
Sure.
work was seminal. She was building on my work, and she got away with that. And I don't just blame her; I blame her committee members, because normally, if it's a leading a piece of work, you have to engage it, either to refute it or to affirm it. By her not citing my work, that hurt me long term, because in academia, you are rewarded by the number of citations that you have. And so she did her publications. Her work was derivative of my work. In my opinion, her
Fascinating.
publications did not merit tenure at an
I
Ivy
just
League school. Yeah.
it's almost like she's stealing. I mean, the way you put it, and I didn't realize this in academia. It's almost like she's stealing from you if she's not giving you credit, and that's how people move forward in academia. What I'm wondering about, and you were, I think it's
Okay.
fair to say, a trailblazer in.
Hey, you heard what the reporter said. The reporter said that this is it's stealing, and that's how it's looked at academia. Plagiarism is considered stealing. We know that stealing is considered to be a crime. So it is what it is. Let's continue.
Black women in education, especially in the political science world, in the way that you have been. I'm wondering if you think that Harvard protecting her in this way. This is a woman who clearly is a bigot based on her testimony, but you've laid out a case for why she is also someone who has violated another set of ethics that Harvard says they hold dear, which is academic integrity. I'm wondering if you think protecting her hurts the progress that has been made and the hard work of you and other black women in academia. And I'm wondering if so, if it does hurt that, why is this so sacred to Harvard, do you think?
But they're hurting their brand for DEI.
Okay, we're gonna stop this video there because I got some things that I want to touch on regarding what we're seeing. We're seeing power uses the tools. We're seeing power use the tools at its disposal in order to enforce its agenda. Its agenda was to get rid of Claudine Gay because Claudine Gay didn't do something that they wanted her to do. And what they wanted her to do was to get the pro-Palestine protesters, was to enact some kind of punishment to deter further protests like that. She didn't do that. She didn't toe the line, and therefore she had to pay a price. And what these powerful donors did, they suspended future donations. You see, the one donor had $270 million donated to the school. They suspended further donations. Uh, they uh, pretty much hired the journalists. They hired the journalists, the newscaster, and the news agency. They employed them to push a certain narrative. They had some they got in contact with Dr. Swain, and they brought on Dr. Swain so she can talk about how her intellectual property was violated by Claudine Gay, um, and they and they uh they did this several times. So this is power at work objectively, whether you agree that Claudine Gay should have been removed or not. Uh, you cannot deny the lessons of how power is wielded versus uh, being empowered. You know, and man, you know, with this situation, I think it was I think that the best thing Claudine Gay should have done was to quietly resign instead of running off, screaming and kicking. Um, another thing Power did was they basically weaponized the same type. Two black American scholars, two black American women in academia, they weaponized them against each other. Both DEI people, they weaponized them against each other. So man, I mean, it was a power play. It's a power play. So um, looking at all of this, you know, I mean, it's a lesson in how to wield power. Man, I gotta plug this. I gotta get a new power strip. This one does not hold my cords in like I would like, so I gotta get something uh, better than what I currently have. Uh, Getting back to the video. Um, but yeah, I mean, this was a very good um, class in how power is welded and power versus empowered. And this is why I always tell people, hey, know the difference and understand. I'd rather have power than to be. I'd rather have power than to be empowered. Deacon Dave said, Espanol, CC. Espanol, closed caption. Hey, Dave, you wrong for that one, bro. You wild, boy. You a wild one. Yeah, man. Uh, you know, and as I've said several times going forward, you're going to see more displays of power versus those with power versus those they empowered. And I tell you, 99.99% of the time, power is going to win. Power is going to win one way or another. I mean, and a lot of times it's unfortunate because the empowered may be right in their decision not to do something. Like I said, uh, you know, I agree with what Claudine Gay said about free speech on campus. And the problem is, Claudine's gay problem was, you know, donors that had been pumping in billions of dollars into Harvard. You saw the one with 270 million, 270 million dollars. $270 million. You you're not gonna fight that. If they say they want something done, it's gonna get done. 270 million? 270 million. You know, 270 million. What Claudine Gay should have did was when the accusations and examples of plagiarism started coming out, she should have just went ahead, resigned, uh, lay low for about 3 months, because then everybody would have forgotten by then. The 2024 election cycle would have been in full swing. She could have took a spot at an HBCU quietly, got her money that way. Went to maybe some other PWI that isn't really in the public eye, and she could have got her money that way, and maybe popped up a few years later, you know, if at all, you know. Um, but no, she wanted to get out there. She wanted to do the, sister girl, yeah, do the neck roll, and um, she wanted to do the nerdy girl neck roll, and she wanted to fight the power that pays her. You know, hey, she didn't she didn't pick a battle. She picked poorly in choosing a battle. and and she had to go, and she wasn't the only one over there at was it UPenn or Penn State? The white woman uh was white woman who was the president of the school was let go. You know, she was forced to resign because of this stuff. You know, and hey, like I said, salute to the small hats for flexing power. If anything, Black Americans need to sit back and take lessons. Understand what it looks like, remember what it looks like, and try to put it in practice. Whether you agree with it or not, the lesson is the lesson. And that's what I've been trying to explain to people who don't agree with me about it, you know, because there are quite a few, like I said, uh, black people, pro-blacks, leftists, you know, they don't agree with me, you know, and they, you know, the sister, man, this is a lesson in power. I don't care what side you fall on it. Understand this is how power works. Learn the lesson. Look at the lesson. Learn the lesson. Remember the lesson, and reenact the lesson when you have a chance. If I ever get power like that, if I ever get money and power like that, I am going to flex my power like that. I don't blame the Hets for doing what they did. They were they were right in how they exercised their power. I'm not mad at them at all for that. I'm not mad at them. You know, it is what it is. I mean, if you go outside this and you look at, you know, all of this stuff with Cat Williams talking about Cat Williams talking about the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers exercised their power. You know, when you become a gatekeeper, exercise your power. Some people you're gonna let in, some people you're not gonna let in. The ones you let in, you expect something for them. You expect them to toe the line. For those who you don't let in for whatever reason, you have a reason to not let certain people in the door. The power you extend to others should be to your benefit. It's not simply benevolence. Oh, I'm going to do this for you because you're you. No, I need something in return. That's like the movie Godfather. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. It is what it is. And it's certainly that way in politics. It's in most industries. It is what it is. You know, if you are one who is empowered, it is your duty to figure out a way to become the power so that you can call the shots someday. You got to figure it out someday. You got to take the steps. You got to put up the money. You have to do whatever it takes to become the power, the one wielding the power. It is what it is, you know? It is what it is. It's a cold game, as they say. The game is cold. It is what it is, man, you know? Um, and for those of you all who are seeking opportunities and stuff, you have to understand how the game is played, because something's going to be expected of you. You know, what up, Free Zone? What up, baby? Glad to have you here. I appreciate you stopping by. Yes, sir. You know, back in the day, I used to. I had some loose affiliations with with political action organizations in Chicago, and I did so. Um, you know, I did so to get something out of them. Unlike a lot of the other people who were doing so in order to get jobs, to get like city jobs. And this was when Mayor Daley was the mayor of Chicago. This is the son. Um, there used to be an organization called Citizens for a Better West Side, and this was a political action organization, and it was set up by someone who was very tight with the mayor and the county board president at that time, which was Papa Stroger and stuff. And you would go out and do political work and stuff, bring in votes or make donations in exchange for jobs. And this is how it works. This is how it works in Chicago. And I'm pretty sure in most urban areas, especially, and it works Republican or Democrat. This is how it is. Do you want certain jobs? You want certain positions? You want certain opportunities opened up? You go to these organizations, and whatever work they say put in, you got to make a decision. Either you put in that work or you don't. You either put in that work or you don't. And with Citizens for a Better West Side, you would have all of these guys. They would, they would go out. They would canvass the areas, uh, make sure people get to the polls to vote um, for Daley and the other Democrats. And in exchange, when Daley and his people when his people got in, you come, you you whatever place you applied for, there was a city job or a county job. You come in, either you show them that application, you had a way of getting your information to the guy that ran that organization, and he walked it straight to the people it needed to be walked to, so that you got the call. Everybody know that if you work for Cook County, you work for Chicago, you had you had somebody to speak on your behalf. You had to know somebody, or you had to know somebody that knows somebody. You had to have the right last name. You had to write them checks for a couple of grand. You know, it it's the game. That it is what it is. That's the game. That's the political game. It is what it is. You know, you look at you look at BLM, not the grassroots BLM, the one with the three with the three girls that stole all that money. They were used to push an agenda for the 2020 presidential election. They were used to push an agenda, and they got what they got what they got, and they got out of Dodge. They were empowered. That's what it is. They were empowered. That's how power works. You know. Hopefully, in situations like that, ideally you want to be the one with the power. But if you're not, you got to understand you need to be self-aware and understand what it is you'll do and what you won't do. So you know, it is what it is, man. I don't even get mad either. Uh, I make the choice whether I'm going to be involved or not. You know, the whole the casting couch situation. That is what that was. You know, the casting couch situation. You know, the what you had to pay back was, ooh, you know, uh, hmm, hey. but you had people sign up for it. Now they're trying to get some get back because they didn't like how things turned out for them. But it is what it is, and I mean, hey, okay, all right, you know, you want to get some get back, okay, you know, hey, my thing is I'm not involved with it. That's you deal with it how you deal with it over there. Um, but that's the thing going forward. When Tommy Lauren, when a few years ago, she had some stuff to say about, she had some negative stuff to say about uh, high value white men. They flex their muscle. They use their power to have her walk that stuff back. That's power. Conversely, Cynthia G was empowered to say the stuff she said for a long time until somebody else with some power, with more power than her, put her on blast and got her off social media, got her off a lot of these platforms, YouTube and others. You know, that's because she didn't have more power than the people she came after. And unfortunately, because Black American men didn't have power, it took like 6 years to get rid of them. Had Black American men had more power, or or at least had the people among them that had the power, they could have been got rid of it. You know, and I think going forward, I think that's a powerful lesson, in that you don't have power, you need to start networking and stuff, and getting next to people with power. You know, like I said before, you got to figure out what it is you will do and won't do. You're going to get your hands dirty, some one way or another. It is what it is. Either you're going to do it all on your own, you're going to be a rugged individual. We'll see how that goes. Or you're going to connect yourselves to others with power, and come up with collaborations. You're going to figure out something, or you just gonna be a bump on the log. And I ain't man, I ain't even doing nothing with that. You know, um, again, this is the real purpose of these fraternities and clubs and stuff. It's not just simply partying and with strippers and busting down strippers and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know all about it. The real purpose of these fraternal organizations is to create usable men, and to aggregate power and influence. And that's what, if you don't like the fraternities and organizations out there, start your own with like-minded people. Shout out to Obsidian, who is a content creator. I've mentioned him before. Um, that's what him and his guys are attempting to do, is to create a fraternity like thing. You know, Shout out to them guys for doing that. They're understanding that dynamic, and they're making moves to create that. Shout out to them. You don't have to be a Q, or you don't have to be Alpha Phi Alpha and stuff like that. I've heard the accusations a lot of you guys like to make. You don't have to be a Freemason. I've heard the accusations made by about Freemasons, and I know exactly where it comes from. It comes from the church, because the church didn't want competition. But hey, these same accusations are made by people that don't attend church. because they don't want to be power bottoms. Shout out TD Jakes. Yeah, but you have to have some kind of fellowship, some kind of you need organizations, you need money, you need to either own your politicians or rent them. You need to own your representatives or rent them. You need to do that with your attorneys and stuff. You need to That's how you need to organize. And I'm not saying do it racially. If that's what you think you want to do, then go do that. If you want to do it with like-minded men, which something I would be more apt to, then that's what you do. You get some guys together and say, "Hey, listen, I want to do this, and we we all have this common interest. We want to get this accomplished. This is what we're going to do. So let's pool our time, money, and resources together and create this, so we can exploit these opportunities. Do that." But um, that's how you do it. If you um are in a major city and you want your kids, or you want yourself, your spouse or your kids, or other family members to get certain jobs, you got to play the political game. It is what it is. You got to play the game. Ain't nobody I'll get the job 'cause, me, I'm me, I'm qualified. Everybody's qualified that apply for that. Everybody, everybody's qualified. You know, you need a benefactor. You need somebody with a name. Either that or you're going to write a check. It is what it is. Or you're going to go to a puffy party. Woo! You're going to go to a puffy, you're going to go to a party. You're going to go to some parties. If it's a puffy party, I don't know. But you're going to have to show up at certain places. You might have to write a check. You're going to have to go knock on some doors, canvas the areas. You're going to do something. It is what it is. If you want to get into these, you know, on the corporate side, the same thing happens. You got to learn how to play golf. You got to learn when to shut up and see but not see stuff. It happens on that side, you know, and understand, because of how the game is played, the game is that when you get new leadership, when you get new people at the top, understand the people from that. It's the lion pride rule. It's the lion pride rule. When one line defeats another line, the line that is the victor is going to get rid of all of the offspring of the other line, because he's going to want to pass on his influence. It happens in politics. It happens on the corporate side. It happens in entertainment. It is what it is. Understand this. Claudine Gay, understand that you are beholden to the people that have more power than you, which is something Gay did not understand. You know, try to, run up under Obama and say, they try to get rid of me. And, he went and made his calls. And, I like to say, though, 270 million, Barry. One donor, 270 million. You're you know, what you say is not enough. You're not the president no more, buddy. You're not the POTUS no more. It is what it is. you know, you're not the POTUS no more. You know, his time had passed in being, the powerhouse. You know, Maxine Gay didn't understand that. Black Americans don't understand how power works. I think going forward, we're going to examine more issues of how power works and how power is also abused. I still got to talk about old girl from Dalton, Tiffany Hatton, Tiffany Hinton, and all of these clowns around America who, your Mike Madigans and so people who have abused their power and, the prices that they had to pay for it, and, these power wars. It's awesome, you know. But hey, I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate you guys coming through. Uh, if you hadn't already hit the like button, do me a favor, hit the like button or hit the dislike button. You don't like it, man, fuck that dude. You hit the dislike button. Uh, you know, if you like what I'm doing, if you want to see my platform grow, do me a favor, drop a 5 in the Cash App. Other than that, I'll get at you guys later. This is Mr. Royce J, Royce Media. I'm out.